owned areas will protect the humans. And so if you're not in org-owned areas, you're going to feel the wrath of these things. I found it interesting that in the codes, the name Hawaii came up. Hawaii will endure it. So I was trying to think, have I ever sent Orgone to Hawaii? Has anybody ever sent Orgone to Hawaii? Because apparently they don't have any out there, enough out there. But either way, these locusts are just going to be inflicting mankind. And unless you have the seal of God on your forehead, a lot of the plagues of the last days are going to be inflicting mankind. I do believe this Revelation 9 locust invasion, that the first fruits rapture of 144,000 has already taken place by the time Maitreya arrives, or shortly after. It will be before this locust invasion. We won't be here for this. Because after this locust invasion, I talked about this a couple weeks ago, and I was going through the events of the tribulation period, the first half, because these are like kind of stuck in the middle. There's like a middle area here. You'll see middle of trib, middle, and there's really no defined timeline of middle. It's just kind of things that happen between the first part and when the second part starts. You'll see the destruction of New York City shortly after that sometime. And so I'm not going to get in with New York City right now, though I mentioned it last week. But I am seeing it a lot more in the codes coming up about New York City. So just some more things. I wanted to talk something else I wanted to bring up. I dropped my pen. It's my favorite pen. All right, here it is. These chip implants, the big reason for this whole chip implant thing, besides the fact that the Lord's going to damn anybody's soul who gets these chips, and here's a good reason why. This is the straight-up talk on these chips. Satan's kingdom is controlled and dominated by the hive-minded collective consciousness principle. To be hive-minded is to be controlled. They control your thinking for you, and you will not be able to think for yourself. Individualism will not be allowed. There's no individualism in Satan's kingdom. You look at these gray aliens, which is a perfect illustration, because when people think of these grays, they think of, that's the first thing you think of. You think of an alien. You don't realize these tall giants, these Anunnakis, that are coming are aliens, because when you think of aliens, you think of these gross, weird shaped-headed or short, big-eyed alien-type beings. But the smaller grays in particular, because they're a manipulated race. They were created to be slaves for the taller reptilians, the lizards, and the taller grays. They can't think for themselves. They're controlled. They're chip implanted. They're operated by the collective consciousness principle, to where they always work together. They can't think for themselves because they're controlled and told what to do through their chip implants. They have these brain implants. And so their whole society, these grays and these little green men and different races like them, they're controlled by Satan, and he uses them to do his bidding. Like right now, what do? They abduct humans. They do various things for Satan's kingdom. The lab experiments, the genetic breeding, genetic experiments, crossbreeding. They also abduct humans for food. They're used as a worker and slave race for Satan's kingdom, and so they're all chip implanted so that they can be controlled through a hive-minded consciousness. And it's usually, like the ones above them, they'll have handlers, the taller grays or reptilians, whatever, the ones who actually control what these little worker bees are doing. That's exactly what Satan has in plan for society, for this whole earth when he arrives. Get everybody chip implanted so that they can be hive-minded and controlled. And I've stated before that these chips are like two-way transistor radios. They can hear and they can hear and see everything you're doing. And you can also hear them. And that was the biggest thing a lot of people, I don't think, understood about this RFID implant and others just like it, these chips, because they're electronic chips. is the fact that they're two-way transistors. You get chip implanted now, and they make it sound like it's just going to be a database of your records, your health, your employment, birth, whatever, DNA. That's basically just a walking computer chip in your arm or forehead is what they want you to think. But what they don't tell you is it's actually a two-way, so that they can talk to you. You're going to be hearing voices in your head. So many people are just going to think they're suffering from schizophrenia because they're hearing these voices, and it's actually the military or whoever's going to be behind the handler of, I don't know how many people are going to be over how many people. If they've got all these chips designated, like one person will be over 1,000 people with this class of chip implants, and then another 1,000 over that, that number of people with a chip implant. I don't know how they're going to do it, but you better believe it's organized. It's going to be organized, and there's going to be people behind controlling every single person who gets one of these chips. You're just going to be designated as a group, and then you're going to have one handler controlling that entire group, everybody who has that certain chip. And that's exactly how Satan plans on controlling and operating his kingdom on earth, is through chips. He can make this an entire hive-minded society. They take over your brain. You can't even think for yourself. And you've seen the subtle conditioning in television. Some of these commercials are the best ones to watch out for. There's one commercial from Monster.com where it shows people just they're on these automated things, and instead of walking to where they're supposed to be, they're just kind of being ridden there on these automated things. And then you see one person walking through the crowd, actually walking, being human-like. That's what it's going to be like, folks. He's going to have everybody so zombie-like. It's going to be like a zombie civilization. Once you get this chip implant, and there's different various things they can do. They can turn you into a complete zombie to where you're just a worker bee for Satan, like the gray aliens are, doing his bidding, doing what he wants. Or you can just be soul scalped completely, and one of his aliens or demonic hosts can take over your body. Because once you get that chip, you're joining his kingdom. That's a voluntary decision to join Satan's kingdom on earth, and so he has your soul from that point on, and so he can just kill you and take over your body and give it to one of his fellow alien or demonic buddies. And so there's going to be various things going on earth at that time. What they need is to get to that point to where Satan has control over the majority or all of the people on earth, and so he has these charades, this cleansing program, this chipping program, money, join my kingdom, I'll give you money, I'll give you $75,000 a month, just get this chip. Look, he'll tell you whatever you want to hear. He's going to tell people whatever they want to hear. And so that's how he's going to gain control over the world, because the majority of the people are going to think we're stupid. The people trying to warn them, like me for years, there's many of us, are going to think all those people are Satanists because they're not believing in Jesus that's on earth, and they'll encourage our deaths. They'll encourage the deaths of people who oppose the whole kingdom program on earth, who oppose everything that they try to set up on earth as this new kingdom of God, this age of Aquarius. Anybody opposed is going to look like evil. Black becomes white, white becomes black, evil is good, good is evil. That's when surely you're going to see everything switch. The good people now are going to be considered evil. Evil people now are going to be considered good. And you're seeing a taste of it already just with the New World Order. And the police state and all this. You haven't seen anything yet, folks. You haven't seen anything. This is just the tip of the iceberg. And so just a warning that I wanted to spend tonight talking about the liquid gold, the push that's going to come for this white monoatomic gold, this gold elixir, fountain of youth, immortality. It's Jim Jones Kool-Aid, folks. Don't drink it. Also with Moses arriving, if they bring out this Moses and the Ark of the Covenant and the red heifer and all this, it's just they're trying to follow Bible prophecy with that, and it's going to be a complete joke. But it's going to deceive a lot of people. And certainly this IZL blue beam satellite phenomenon.